Hello, welcome to AccuKnit. I'm Clara. I'm an acupuncture student and a knitter, lover of all things healing needles. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to my podcast. Today I've got a finished piece, finished garment. I don't really like calling them objects. It kind of feels weird to me, but yeah, I got a finished piece and then some acquisitions and works in progress that I'm starting. And then at the end, I also wanted to do a little media review because I have been audio booking like crazy. So I wanted to talk about some of the books that I have finished and one that I'm going to be starting today that I'm very excited about. So yeah, let's get right to it. I'm also wearing my summer secret top by Jessie Mae Designs. I made it in the Knit Picks Visions yarn in the colorway Waterloo Sunset. I talked extensively about my process making this, as well as some of my woes with like the color changing yarn and all of that in I think my second episode of the podcast. So if you want to see a little bit more about that, definitely check that out. So the first thing, as I said, is a finished piece. I have the light summer shorts by Holly C. Watson, and I really love how these came out. I like the design a lot because I think right now like the micro shorts are very popular, but I just don't think those look very good on my specific body type, and with the way that I dress, it just like it really wouldn't fit into my wardrobe. And again, I don't like how they look on my particular body type. I prefer something that is tighter at the waist and then kind of flares out like that. So these were kind of the perfect like fit for what I was going for. And yeah, I love like a little loungy short. I knit this in the Hobbii 8x4 cotton in the color pistachio. I love this color, which is very unexpected. If you watched, I think it was my first podcast video where I talked about how like my entire wardrobe is pretty much neutrals and earth tones. And then when I started knitting, I was like, oh, this is kind of boring. Let me get into color. And so now here I am on this like foray into the world of color. And as you can see, I think it's going pretty well. I'm really getting myself out there and I'm actually really enjoying it a lot more than I thought I would. It's not as scary as I thought. These shorts were honestly really easy to make. Obviously, it's just a lot of stockinette in the round with some increases. The hardest part was probably the provisional cast on, just because I had never done that before, but ended up being super easy, and I'm a fan of the provisional cast on. They fit great as well. I don't know what it is, but when I finished and just laid them out flat, they looked massive. But then I put them on and they fit great, and I was like, okay, weird. So I don't know what exactly that's all about. But also, I mean, I think because of the fit, how they kind of like have a little more positive ease and a little bit more drapiness to them, I think that's why they looked so huge. But I definitely finished and I was like, oh, are these gonna fit okay? But then I put them on and like rest assured, they fit really nicely. That being said, obviously, if you couldn't tell already, I didn't really try this on while I was making it, which maybe I should have, you know? But I was right on gauge. This is actually the recommended yarn for the pattern, and I knit it with the recommended 3.5mm needles, which was really nice just because I feel like I don't see a lot of patterns where I want to use the recommended yarn because A, they don't have like the colors that I want in that yarn, or B, the yarn is freaking expensive, okay? Especially like living in the US. I feel like a lot of yarns are maybe more expensive here. But yeah, a lot of times like they're expensive, or they're expensive and it's paired with like mohair, or you're holding 2 or 3 together. And it's like, oh my God, if I were to get all of those yarns at like $20 per skein, that would just be like a crazy expensive sweater, and I don't really want to spend that much. So anyways, It was really refreshing to see that like the recommended yarn for this was literally just like the Hobbii or Hobbii 8x4 because that's such an affordable, nice yarn. And it comes in so many colorways. So that was just like nice and refreshing. But anyways, as I was saying, yeah, I probably should have like tried this on while I was making it a little bit more. But this is really just me being lazy. But in order to try on shorts as you go, you literally have to like take your pants off and then put these on, take these off, and then put your pants back on. And yeah, I was just like mostly knitting this outside, at work, not really in places where I was like gonna do all that. Like, even in my backyard, like I live in a townhouse, and so I know, like, if my neighbors are looking out their back windows, like from the second floor, they can just see my entire backyard and they would be able to see me. Um, and yes, I could have just gone inside and gone to the bathroom and like changed, but it was just like too much hassle. And I was like in the zone of just doing it. And I was like, you know what? I'm on gauge. It should be fine. The only thing about me not trying it on as I went is just that I think I could have done with maybe like half an inch or an inch less length on the bottom. Um, so yeah, that's honestly a really easy fix though. I could potentially just put in a lifeline in and frog it back and then bind off again, but time will tell if I really feel like it's worth going through that effort. Most annoying part was definitely this long ass I cord. Oh my god. Oh my god. I was like so excited because it was basically done. I was like, oh, all I need to do is make the cord. And then making the cord was so tedious and annoying. And I was like, wow, I know that I've seen people have those little like I cord makers. And this is the first time I have made an I cord. And when I was making this, I was like, I really understand why they made a machine to do this because it's so annoying and tedious. And this one is so long because it's a drawstring, so it has to go all the way around your waist and then have enough extra length for it to tie in a nice little bow. And I like my drawstrings generally to be a bit longer, so it just took forever. But other than that, I would say I think it's a great, really easy pattern. Some of the projects on Ravelry I was seeing, some people were saying that they wished there was some more shaping in the back because as you can see, or I'll insert photos so you can see, but the front and back are essentially just like they're just the same. So yeah, I definitely think if you have more of a booty, that would be more of an issue, and it would definitely be recommended to like add some short rows in the back. And it would be great if that was actually in the pattern, but it is unfortunately not. So that would be something to consider if you got a little more going on back there. And then also another thing that was recommended was to put an elastic band in the waistband. And originally I did not do that. And I was like, oh, this is fine. Like, it's whatever with the drawstring. It holds up just fine. But then after like 30 minutes of like wearing it and walking around, I was like, okay, it's like starting to kind of like slide down my waist just a little more, you know? Especially because it is 100% cotton. It is not heavy, but it's got some weight to it, you know? And so that it's just gonna work with gravity to try to pull things down. And so since the drawstring is just an I-cord, like as tight as you tie it, it's inevitably going to stretch a little bit and kind of like loosen over time as you wear it. So I definitely would recommend the waistband. And I think some people I saw in Ravelry were like, oh, I wish I had like put in the waistband before, or they sewed it on the inside. But if you could just fold the waistband, you can insert it into these little drawstring holes and then just like thread it through. And then like, okay, I don't know if this is making sense, but look at this. See, it's very easy to just pull this out of the drawstring hole. And that's what I did. Like, I don't know if this is a tip that other people use or know of, but you just take a safety pin and you stick that through and attach it to one end of the elastic, and then that's how you thread it through the entire waistband. And then I just poked it out of this drawstring hole again to seam it together. And then after that, you can just kind of expand it to where the waistband gets tucked back in there, and then it's as good as new. Generally, when I do waistbands, I do the size of my waist minus like 1 or 2 inches. So yeah, those are modifications that I would definitely consider if you are planning on making these shorts. But other than that, really pleasant, easy kind of, I think they call it potato chippy knitting experience. Really rewarding, honestly, and I'm really excited to wear this. And they are just like really nice and cozy, so I'm excited for them to be like nice little lounge shorts that I can also wear out. Next up, I'm going to combine the acquisitions and works in progress because they kind of go together. So the other night I received my package from Hobbii, and I just still don't know how to say it, so I'm just going to say Hobbii every time. But yeah, I placed an order from them like a week ago mainly because I needed to get the yarn for my partner's birthday project. That is a secret, but I am filming like a project vlog about it, so you'll see it like eventually. But yeah, it is top secret. I don't even want to show the yarn because I am not risking them knowing anything about this project. It's going to be 100% a surprise. The only thing they know is that I'm making something for them and it's knit. So I did cast that on last night and I'm super excited about that. But other than that, I also got this FriendsExtra Fine Merino, and it's in this sapphire color. As I had mentioned in a couple episodes ago, I had started the Loupy Studios stripy cardigan just without the stripes. I just wanted to do it in like this nice solid color, but I had started that in the Friends 8x8 cotton, but I really did not like that yarn. I did not like using it. I didn't really like the way that it felt either. So I sold that on Facebook Marketplace and then I got the merino instead. And I actually think this is going to be a better option overall. So the original reason I was going to do it with cotton is just because I live in Richmond, Virginia. It's already hot, and it's only going to get hotter, and it's also super humid here. So I was going to do the cotton just so that I could wear it more year round, you know? But I actually think that the merino is going to be kind of perfect just because I forgot how even though it's really hot outside, it's usually cold AF inside. Especially like I'm just like I run pretty cold. So yeah, when they blast the AC inside, like it is freezing to me. So I actually think this is going to be like the perfect thing to kind of keep on me at all times so that I can throw it on when I'm inside and then just take it off when I'm outside. So yeah, I think I'll actually get a lot of wear out of this in the merino wool. So yeah, I'm excited to cast this on. I started doing a little gauge swatch last night. My partner wanted to go to bed, so we had to turn the lights off and I could not finish it. I also had this idea the other night of doing a cardigan with the Tiger Balm logo on the back. Yeah, the Tiger Balm logo is just like so actually cool. Like I had never really thought about it just because it was such like a normal thing in my household. Like anytime you got a bug bite or like you scraped your knee or something like that, like it was always, oh my god, my yarn. Yeah, it was just like such a normal thing in my like household growing up. And then the other day I like thought about Tiger Balm again and I looked it up and I was like, their logo and their packaging kind of goes hard. And so, yeah, I was like, this would be so sick on a cardigan. And I think that on this color too, it would be so cool. Like, it would go so hard. I'm really excited to like make a little chart on Stitch Fiddle and eventually do that. I'm just trying to decide, like, do I want the entire logo in white, or I think if I just had the words in white and the actual tiger in like an orange color in contrast to this blue would be so striking. Again, look at me and my like foray into color. Like, this is so exciting. I'm probably not going to actually cast this on until a bit later, just because my partner's birthday project is going to involve a lot of purling. And yeah, so I don't know if I want to also be working on a cardigan at the same time, which is also going to involve a lot of purling. So I think instead I'm going to work on a little tank top. It's called the Breezy long sleeve top, but the pattern does also come with a sleeveless like tank top version, which I love that. I love a pattern that comes with like multiple patterns in one. And I also just love that silhouette. And so I think I'm going to make the tank top right now. And then eventually when it gets a little colder, I would love to make the long sleeve version too. And I think like a Bordeaux red would be so stunning. But yeah, I just really wanted to make something where I would get to the point where I could just do like stocking it in the round, and not have to do like so much purling. So I'm going to make that in this Lion Brand Kobu yarn. This is the color Vanilla Cream, and I have like so much of this. I have this plus 2 other skeins, and they're pretty fat, like they're 100 grams each. And then I have one in the black, I think it's the technically charcoal color. So I definitely want to use these up. And I also had the idea of making like having a little graphic thing here. I just like love this placement on my body type. I think it's just like very flattering. And it's also kind of perfect for knitting, because then you can like do a graphic because you're just going back and forth in the flat, and then once you join in the round, like you're not having to worry about the color work anymore, if that makes sense. So I made a little chart on Stitch Fiddle and I did a swatch of it, and it's a little flower. I think it's so cute, and it's like the perfect size to go right up there. I think, at least I think this would be so darling. Yeah, I think I'm gonna probably cast that on like later today, so I'm very excited. Hi, it's me in the future. I cannot believe I forgot about this yarn, but I picked this up at the Ren Fair, and it is this beautiful 100% superwash merino. It's hand dyed by Fellowsheep yarn, which is a Virginia local hand dyer. It's in the colorway Autumn Field. It's a DK weight, 100 gram hank, and it is just, I mean, like, oh my god, it's so beautiful. Like, I have truly no idea what I'm gonna do with this, because I only got one hank, so it's like not enough to make a whole lot of stuff, and B, these are really like colors that I do not gravitate towards, especially this pink and the yellow. It's just not really something that I incorporate into my wardrobe ever, but I just saw it and it was so beautiful, and I just had to get it. And I've also never worked with hand-dyed yarn before, so it should be a really fun and exciting experience. I was happy to support like a local dyer. But yeah, as I said, not entirely sure what I will make out of this. My idea right now is to make like maybe a sweater or a vest with like a design on it, and have this be the yarn that I use for the design. I think that would be a good use for like the kind of awkward amount of yarn that I have, instead of just doing like a beanie. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. I realized that I kept like forgetting about it because I just like never took it out of my tote bag. Like I got it at the Ren Fair. I threw it in my tote bag when I was there, and then I just like never took it out. Which was actually kind of fun because every time I'd reach into my tote bag for something, I'd like see it and I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, it's so pretty." And then I'd like show everyone around me. I'd be like, "Guys, look how beautiful it is." And yeah, not that they like cared or asked. I was just like, oh my God. So it made me really excited when it was in my bag, but it will now go with the rest of my stash. And yeah, that's this lovely yarn. Lastly, I've got a bunch of audiobooks to talk about. So I've finished 4 in the past like month or month and a half, and I'm about to start one today, which I'm very excited about. So the first 2 were part of the same series. It's Emily Wilde's series. So the first is Emily Wilde's Encyclopaedia of Faeries, and then the second one is her map of the Otherlands. So it centers obviously the character Emily Wilde. She is a dryadologist, which is a fairy scholar, someone who studies and researches the Fae at Cambridge. And then she's going, well, the first one, she's going on like a journey to research the Fae in a specific town. So here's the thing. I have kind of mixed feelings. I enjoyed the story, I enjoyed the plot, I enjoyed the world, I enjoyed the love interest. A lot of people on Goodreads were like, he was annoying and he was just like lazy, but I'm like, he was fun. He is just like this dramatic dude who like loves home decor and looking beautiful and making sure all of his clothing is like perfect and tailored, and if it's not, he gets a little woeful, and I love that about him. I feel the same. Like, I just feel like he was fun and dramatic and like, yeah, me too. Maybe it's just because I relate, but I was just like, I like it. So yeah, I thought he was fun. I think, unfortunately, this book like suffers from something that I feel like a lot of shows have too, where like the main character is like the least good part of the show. Okay, so Emily Wilde is like, you know, this scholar. She's very academically focused. She is very focused on her work. It's kind of like her whole life. And she does not care about like her clothing. Like all of her clothing is like very worn and like tattered almost, and her hair is constantly in this like mess of tangles, and she doesn't care for socialization, or she doesn't like it. She doesn't really understand it. You know, I understand that it was done, I think, to be like the polar opposite of her love interest, who is very charismatic, very friendly, very, you know, cares obviously about the way that he presents and stuff. And so I understand that. And it really like did not bother me in the first book. But when you get into the second book, I'm like, dude, I've already spent like 15 hours with this lady. Like, I already know this about her because you talk about it like every chance that you get, how bad she is at socializing, how her hair is just constantly in this mess, and like she can't be bothered because she's so invested into her research and all of that. Like, okay, I get it. Like, can we expand upon her character at all? Like, does she have any other traits? Like, hello. And also, like, I'm not dumb. Again, I've spent so many hours with this lady. I know this about her already. I don't need to be told over and over again. It's also like written from her, a lot is, I think the whole thing is like from her perspective. Like, it's her journal entries, and so it's like she's constantly saying this about herself, which is even more annoying because it's almost giving like kind of like pick me vibes. And it's also like, to the author, you're like, is she not like a more like three-dimensional person? Like, does she not have anything else going on that you can talk about that's not just, I look a mess because I don't care, because all I care about is my research? And I do also feel like that trope is a little overdone, especially when it comes to like female academic characters. Yeah, I'm just gonna put that out there. You also find out in the second book, this is like not really a spoiler, but you also find out that she does not like cats. That's crazy. Like, oh, hi. I hope you could hear his purrs. I'm unfortunately not going to be like continuing with the series, but yeah, I think if you just read the first one, it's really not that bad. It's really when it gets to the second book that you, or at least I, started to get really tired of it, and I really started to like notice it more. So maybe if you just want to read the first one, I would definitely recommend that. Kind of unfortunate there, but this next book, so good. It's called The River Has Roots by Amal El-Mohtar. It is so poetic and so beautifully crafted. Like, you really just feel like every word has such intention behind it, and it's got that folk tale kind of feeling, which I really love. It's also, I think, one of the few books out there that I truly think consuming it in audiobook format is the best way to do so. I believe it's narrated by the author and her sister, which is just lovely and perfect because the story is about two sisters, and so much of the story has to do with these songs that the sisters sing, and the audiobook has the songs like in their like full form, if you will, like with the tune and everything. And I just think that adds so much to the story to actually hear the songs being sung. And knowing that it was narrated by the author and her sister, like clearly they had a lot of input, I guess, in the audiobook. So I have to assume that these were the songs that she was thinking of when she was writing it. And so I think that's just like very special. It's also kind of perfect for knitting, especially when you get to that point in your project where you don't have to think a whole lot and you're just going. Because I do think this book required a bit more of like my brain power. Like I really had to kind of like lock in, because again, it's got that like poetic nature to it where like you really want to like be able to sit there and like absorb and take in what it's giving you. And so I think like if you're at a point in your pattern where you're like having to like check back and count and double check things, probably not the best time to listen to this. But once you hit that point where you're just like maybe knitting in the round or something like that, or you're on like a repeat that you can memorize, it's like so good. It was a great compliment to the summer shorts that I just finished, because it was so much just like knitting in the round, and I could really just like lock into the audiobook and like get absorbed in like their world. So yeah, if you hadn't assumed already, I very highly recommend listening to this one. All right, and then I just finished this one like yesterday. It's called The Wisteria Society of Lady Scoundrels by India Holton. It is so fun, dude. It is truly a romp. Like, I don't use that word to describe really anything, but that is like the only word that I feel like describes this book accurately. It's a romp. It's just so much fun. It's a society of lady pirates. They are thieving, they're trying to assassinate each other, they're like doing all sorts of pirate stuff, but at the same time it's set in the Victorian era, so they're also like, oh, but a proper lady would never, you know, but like while they're pickpocketing people. Like, it's such a good time. It's such a fun little adventure. And I also like purposely wanted to listen to this one after The River Has Roots, because I feel like that was just such like a meditative experience that I was like, I just want something fun now that my brain can kind of unwind a little bit. And that was definitely that. It does get a little steamy in like one scene, which always just like, I don't know, kind of takes me by surprise. I think mostly because it's just an audiobook form. Like, I think if I was reading it on the page, it's one thing. But when you're having it read to you with passion, it's like, oh my God. It's like, I don't know if I feel violated or if I feel like I'm violating the characters by like listening to it. But yeah, it's just really like quite the experience to like have that in your ear holes, especially if you're using like headphones or earbuds. You're just like, oh wow, okay, yeah, like ooh. And the narrator's just like so into it and you're just like, oh my God. Anyways, I actually really appreciated, like, I feel like there was a really good balance between like the pirate antics and the romance. Like, it wasn't too heavy on the romance. Like, I would not say that was like the main descriptor I would have for the book. It's more like fun adventure with some romance in there, you know? So yeah, such a fun time. Again, highly recommend. I think it's would be great for knitting. All right, and then today I'm excited because this audiobook just became available on Libby, which is like our library app here. And it just became available today, so I'm going to be starting it. It's called Slewfoot by Brom. It is set in Connecticut in 1666. Shout out. I am actually from Connecticut, unfortunately for me. But yeah, it'll be cool to, you know, read something that's set there. Here, I'll just kind of read the description. Set in colonial New England, Slewfoot is a tale of magic and mystery, of triumph and terror, as only dark fantasist Brom can tell it. Connecticut, 1666. An ancient spirit awakens in a dark wood. The wild folk call him father, slayer, protector. The colonists call him Slewfoot, demon, devil. To Abatha, a recently widowed outcast, alone and vulnerable in her pious village, he is the only one she can turn to for help. Together, they ignite a battle between pagan and Puritan, one that threatens to destroy the entire village, leaving nothing but ashes and bloodshed in their wake. If it is a devil you seek, then it is a devil you shall have. Ooh, fun. Love that. If you couldn't tell, I love fantasy. So yeah, very excited to start that. I think I'm going to do that and cast on the tank top this afternoon. So yeah, let me know what you're working on at the moment. Let me know if you have any summer pattern recommendations, also summer yarn recommendations. I really only have like the Kobu yarn for summer, and as I said, I live in a very hot and humid climate, so let me know if you have other recommendations there. And yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!